Hey, loves. Do you want to learn how to create deep intimacy? Intimacy that will blow your mind and continue to rock it in your business. Doesn't that combo sound amazing? Where you have that spark in your relationship again, you have that connection, and you're also making a massive impact and influencing people in your business. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm Melissa Keenan, CEO and owner at Coaching with Melissa Keenan, where women and couples create the intimacy of their dreams. And I wanted to come and just share this little message with you today, talking to you specifically, you business owners who are doing big, amazing things in your business, and to breathe some hope back into your relationship. I know personally that women who seem to have it all figured out in business don't often have it all figured out in their relationships. So, but I'm here to tell you that we can have both. So if you're excited about this, even if you're watching currently or you're watching on the replay, #replay, I would love for you guys to put in the comments, deep intimacy. If you really want to have deep intimacy at the same time as having a booming business. So type deep intimacy into the comments. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'll share a little bit vulnerably here, and then I actually want to focus more on a really beautiful client that I have kind of guided her through her journey with this. But I want to speak from the heart first, from a personal space, and share that, as I have stepped into my role as an intimacy coach, and I feel very deeply rooted and grounded into my purpose, that this is a huge part of why I'm here on the planet, is to help save marriages and help women blossom into themselves so they know who they really are. And as I've done that, there have been some tricky things that we've had to navigate in our relationship. And I'm an intimacy coach. Okay, so phrases have been shared in our marriage that could have really hurt at another time. My husband has said things to me like, well, it's your money. Or, I was real nervous to make more money than him. And then when I did, it was like, oh, that's no problem. But then it was like, well, different pieces, right? And thankfully, because I have a lot of tools, we have been able to work through that. And I actually received those deeper, really, I see that as seeing into him, and I have created a safety so that I can do that with him, and that he's willing to share those things with me, and because that wasn't always the case, and I can in turn share my fears and my little voices with him as well, and deeply see into him, and then we can go on and create our dreams together. That's the beauty of really, really pursuing intimacy, right? So even as an intimacy coach, I have experienced some tricky things around this whole idea of, really being a powerful business leader, and how does that then affect the dynamic of the marriage? What are the things that show up in the marriage? And is it really possible to have both? It really is possible to have both. So again, if you're excited about this and you want to know exactly how to create deep intimacy while having a booming business, type deep intimacy in the comments. Okay, so I want to share another story with you. I have a client, really amazing woman who owns her own brokerage, real estate brokerage, very powerful, right? She oversees a lot of real estate agents every day, coaching and mentoring them to reach their next levels in sales with houses, and she and her husband sort of do this together. And in working with her, she just broke down in tears one day and said, sometimes I feel so crunched down by all the things that I need to do in my life. So crunched down that it's like I've forgotten my dreams. And I asked her, okay, well, if this is how you feel, what would you do if you weren't allowing yourself to be crunched down right now? And she was like, I don't know. And the more we explored, what really came out was anytime she had a big dreaming idea, her fear of being too big or too much in her marriage, and that ultimately leading to her being alone, would cause her to unconsciously make decisions where she would not share what she was dreaming or thinking or desiring. She would not share those things. She would choose to play small in her marriage because she didn't want to rock the boat. She didn't want to rock the boat. I mean, can anybody relate with that? I can relate with that. She said, there have been times when I've shared things with him and he's shot the idea down, or he didn't like the idea, or we followed through with it and then it upset him in the long run. And so, you can understand, right? Like, oh yeah. But you guys, this is a couple that's amazing. They're evolved people. They have both done a lot of inner work on themselves, which is why they've been able to reach this height in their business, in their career, right? So how can it be that even someone at this evolved state could still be in this situation in her relationship? We all can fall into this, right? This is why we need this intimacy formula. This is why we need it. So I want to revisit them. I'm going to share a little bit more about them in a minute. But first, I want to share with you guys the cost of really not knowing how to create deep intimacy. And I feel like this is so important to talk about because we don't know what we don't know. And so I hear people all the time. I talk to women every day about their relationships, and I hear people all the time talking about kind of settling for what they have because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that it can be any better. Whatever life has tainted them to believe that it can't be any better. But when we don't know how to create that deep intimacy, what happens is we shut parts of ourselves down. Some part of us already does know that intimacy is possible. When we were little girls, it was easy for us to create connection. It was easy for us to just run to those we love with open arms, right? But over time, we have guarded ourselves and we shut parts of ourselves down. So to be in a marriage and know that you're settling for less, that you want your marriage to be better or more, and you're watching the time go by in complacency or mediocrity, distracting yourself with the next to-do item in your business, or numbing on the weekends and evenings with stupid stuff that's just eating away your time, eating away your soul. These are some of the things that we do to distract ourselves from the discomfort of the relationship that's not really at the level we want it to be. And, we know that the more that we do that kind of thing, we are leading down towards the road of divorce. We know that. Nobody needs to be reminded that relationships do end. But I think that the worst case scenario is that we die. I think that's worse than divorce, isn't it? It's like death before death. A complacent marriage, which ultimately eats at you, eats at your children and your family, and even begins to eat at your business and all you've worked so hard to create. So the cost is high. We look at investing in our intimacy or in our marriage as kind of a luxury or maybe a last-ditch effort. And I find that so fascinating because when we got into this marriage, most of us were willing to invest thousands and thousands of dollars. The average wedding is $40,000, right? And yet, actually building the marriage itself, the part that's going to last days and months and years and tens of years after the wedding day, it's like, don't invest in that. That's a luxury, or that's a last ditch effort. No. We have this all backwards. Can you see why? Can you see how we have this all backwards? Because this is our hearts we're talking about. This is what sustains us. So then what is so great about really knowing this intimacy formula? When you know how to give and receive deep intimacy and simultaneously rock it in your business, part of you comes back to life. The whole of you comes back to life. So I want to go back and revisit this couple that I talked about, where the wife was, I only worked with her. I haven't worked with her husband before. I primarily work with women, and I only work with couples in a very high and exclusive sort of situation. But, in working with her, she had this breakthrough, but she had learned how to create this kind of deep intimacy. And let me tell you what happened. She had already worked on creating a new culture in her marriage, in her relationship. And so she went to her partner and she was like, this is what I uncovered. And it hurt. I realized I've been playing small to try to protect you, which really wasn't even about you. It was about trying to make sure I never ended up alone. So brave, so beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? And he turned around in full support of her and said, what do we do about this? Together, they decided that she would invest $10,000 into her dreams and come back to life. So amazing. Like, what a turnaround, right? I mean, it's amazing. She said that there were periods of time as she was sharing with him, he was able to listen so deeply that he wept with her. At the thought that he might be the culprit of why she doesn't fulfill some of her dreams. That's the kind of intimacy that we're talking about here. That's totally possible. That nobody models. We don't see that anywhere. We don't see that on TV. Which is why my message is so important. Why I'm out here sharing what I'm sharing. Because your marriage can be, this life-giving, sustaining, beautiful thing. So, are you guys ready to receive the intimacy formula? I would love for you to put in the comments, ready to receive the intimacy formula. Type ready in the comments if you're ready to hear this intimacy formula. Okay, there's 3 parts to this that I'm going to share with you today. Number 1, receive him without coaching, criticizing, or closing down. That's the number 1 to this intimacy formula. Huge. Easier said than done, but huge. Let him be his own man. And if that's not in alignment with you and not going to work with you, then let's address that, right? But let him be his own man. Okay, number 2, deepen into your feminine in your marriage. Your feminine energy is the only conducive space for relationship building. So likely all the fire and passion and excitement and go-getter progress attitude that got you to this place in your business could also be potentially poisoning your marriage. Because relationships don't thrive in masculine energy. They just don't. So learning how to deepen into your feminine. is step number 2 to this intimacy formula. Okay. Step number 3, learn to powerfully dance through your masculine and feminine in your business. That's what creates a powerful business. So you can get powerful stuff done. It's a dance between the two. It's not just one, it's not just the other. It's not just about tasks and getting things done and being in challenger energy and all that. It's both, right? It's also about being still, magnetizing, letting things come to you. Hey, Jen! So those are your three steps. Now you might be wondering, what does this mean? Some of these steps of this new intimacy formula. What does it mean to deepen into your feminine? It's about receiving. It's about resting, trusting, confidence in your knowing, a softening. And often I find that powerful women in business have this all flipped upside down, right? Instead, they feel like they have to be on and do everything and be everything in their relationship, just like they are in their business. And that can often be what's contributing to the discomfort in the relationship. Okay, so I have created a tool just for you. I've created a feminine profile assessment that will help guide you to exactly how you show up in your relationship and what your next steps are to deepening into your feminine so that you can create the intimacy of your dreams. So if that's something that you want, put intimacy assessment in the comments and someone from our team will reach out to you and make sure you get that. Again, that's an assessment that's going to help you know exactly where you fall in this masculine feminine spectrum and how to deepen into that intimacy that you want to create. So intimacy assessment in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, we'll try and catch you. We'll circle back and make sure somebody from our team gets that assessment to you. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for watching. To all the beautiful couples out there who are ready to up-level and receive deep intimacy, this message is for you. Talk soon.